What if, and stay with me on this, what if there was a war, but instead of just two countries fighting, the whole world shows up sides, like some kind of messed up version of dodgeball? You know, kind of like a prequel to World War II, and then both sides invented wicked awesome weapons and basically spent 4 years living in muddy holes in the ground trying not to get killed by them. Well, that did happen. Today we call it World War I. At the time, they called it the Great War. You see, in 1914, the nations of Europe had a scaredy cat problem. They were all afraid that one of them might get too powerful, like a comic book villain, and try and conquer all the rest. To prevent that, they instituted a kind of buddy system. They all made treaties with each other that basically amounted to, hey, if I get attacked, you'll come help me, right, bro? That made everyone feel great, until a nobleman from the country of Austria, called Franz Ferdinand, went to visit Bosnia, and while taking a scenic drive, was shot and killed by a Serbian terrorist. Stay with me. Austria got mad at Serbia, both countries started calling on the buddy system, and before you know it, everyone was involved. Now, the main players were the Central Powers, mostly Germany and Austria, against the Triple Entente, primarily Great Britain, France, and Russia. Everyone got ready to fight an old-fashioned, old-school war, marching across open fields, shoulder to shoulder, with drums beating and flags waving. Too bad the weapons had changed. Machine guns, poison gas, airplanes, submarines, tanks. All of these meant that the best thing an army could do was dig a hole and stay in it, which is exactly what happened. For 4 years, the two sides faced each other from an elaborate trench system, occasionally trying to cross the no-man's land in between trenches in bloody battles at places like the Somme and Verdun. Most of these new military technologies, such as poison gas, were invented as ways to break the stalemate, to get armies out of their trenches and across no man's land. You'll notice that the United States hasn't been mentioned yet. That's because we stayed out of it. We might not have really wanted to. It was kind of tough. Great Britain was one of our main allies. Then a German U-boat sank a British ocean liner called the Lusitania, killing the American citizens aboard. And very shortly after that, a German ambassador named Zimmermann sent a telegram to Mexico telling Mexico that if the United States entered the war, Germany would be more than happy to team up with Mexico to take out the United States. Combined with the Lusitania incident, the Zimmermann telegram was the final straw. In late 1917, the United States entered the war, and by 1918, the fresh American troops had made the difference. Germany surrendered, signing a peace treaty called the Treaty of Versailles, and the First World War was brought to a close. Why should you care? Well, because America emerged as a world power, Russian losses were so great the Russian people revolted and began a communist revolution, and the Treaty of Versailles was so harsh it really made it difficult on Germany. So hard that conditions of anger and resentment and depression were just right for a guy like Adolf Hitler to show up and take power.